quite like that, but the number does increase exponentially. So 7 to 10 generations. Well, we know that only a small percentage of the people are in fact abductees. Maybe 5%.
Yeah. But that's still a lot. We're talking many hundreds of millions.
Right. In sheer numbers, it's enormous. And we know this to a fair degree of certainty because of a poll that Hopkins and I ran in 1991 through the Roper Organization. We asked people 10 questions that abductees answer yes to in very, very high frequency, and non-abductees answer yes to in very low frequency. And answering yes to any one of these questions could have suggested abduction, being an abductee, although we don't really know these things to be the case because every case has to be investigated. But
sure.
we wanted to get a feel for it.
Yeah. We
asked not 500 people where you have a margin of error of maybe 6%, and we didn't ask 1,000 people where you get a margin of error of maybe 3 or 4%, or 2,000 people where you get really accurate statistics. We asked 6,000 people in 3 2,000-person sweeps across the United States in scientifically randomized questioning. In other words, people were not abductees; they were just random people with clipboard in hand, a kind of a poll that is no longer done. And we asked as part of an omnibus poll, that is to say, the amount of questions that were asked were coupled with other, to keep the cost down, coupled with other other questions from other companies, or other areas.
I see what you mean.
But
yeah.
all the other questions that were asked were sociological or political. None of them had to do with selling of products. What kind of toothpaste do you use, for example?
Mm-hmm.
So they all were political, so that people understood this was a serious poll. The numbers we got were too high. Couldn't go forward with them. They were too high. We knew that it was not great. This was not good. The numbers were too high. So we went ultra conservative, and we said we would only accept people who. What we did is we took the 10 questions and we divided them into lower indicator questions and higher indicator questions. Believe me, every question we asked was the result of lots of thought and preparation and using these questions on all sorts of other people beforehand. And every question was very carefully chosen. So we divided them into higher and lower. And they had to answer yes to 4 or all 5 of the higher indicator questions to make the poll, to make the survey itself, to make the results. So if you answered yes to all 5 of the lower indicator questions, and you answered no to 2 of the higher indicator questions, so you answered, let's just say, 8 questions properly, with a yes, you did not make the poll.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So the final poll survey, we got it down to 2% of we only did it in the United States, of the American population.
2%.
And we know that number is wrong. It's probably closer to 5%. But let's just say it's 2%.
About 24,
we'll go with 2%.
About 25 million, right?
Well, it's 2% of 300 million is about I don't know, it's about 6 million or something like that.
6 million, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but if you're dealing with the world, it doesn't matter. You're dealing with 6 million people in the United States. No percentage that we knew that no percentage was going to be too low.
Yeah,
it was going to be low enough. Rather, there was no such thing. All the percentages were going to have high numbers. So we know it's a global phenomenon. We know that only a small percentage of the people are abductees. Therefore, it hasn't been 7 to 10 generations ago when it started. See what I mean?
Yeah.
And even 20 generations ago. So we know, therefore, that the abduction phenomenon did not start with the building of the pyramids. Because by the year 500 BC, everybody in the whole world would have been an abductee.
Right.
So, and we know it didn't start in the 15th century, and we know it didn't start in the 17th century, and we can date it back in the United States to around the late 19th century. And then we do that through family histories, through our statistics, and all sorts of other stuff. But we do know, the question then is, are they going to continue until everybody is an abductee, or do they only need to go to a critical mass and leave everybody else alone? And the answer is, I think it's critical mass, and I think they've reached that now because we're seeing this program of integration now. And the vast majority of Americans are not abductees. Will those hybrids be eventually marrying into non-abductees? And the answer is, I do not know that. I don't know. I don't know how the thing is going to be played out. I don't know what the end game is. All I know is that whatever it is, I don't like it.
But in any regard, in terms of if these hybrids are placed throughout population centers or cities, areas, etc., would that then mean that they could neurologically control other people within their vicinity, so to speak?
Yes, that's what that would mean. In close vicinity. Now, there are differences between this is now we're really going inside this phenomenon. When people say, well, what kind of aliens are there? How many aliens are there? People said that there's 100 different kinds of aliens, 200, I have 9 million different aliens. What the actual statistic is that what we actually see is there are very tall, very thin looking aliens. People say, God, they look like a praying mantis.
Yes.
Those are the ones in control. Within that praying mantis group, there's actually a hierarchy that we can see. There are some who now we come to crazy stuff, who actually wear some sort of cape or gown or robe or something or other that I laughed at when I first heard it. Now I hear it all the time, and I realized, now I understand. They are the ultimate ones who are in control of the hierarchy. There's a hierarchy of authority. There has to be all sorts of different things that happen to have this program put in. That's a whole other talk, and that's another hour's worth of talking that I could do in terms of how this program gets put into place. But then there are the regular insect-like ones, and eventually you get to taller gray aliens, smaller gray aliens, and hybrids. And then some people say they see some that look like they're reptilian. This one's like, oh, this one's ugly. He's reptilian. So I've asked people to draw what a reptilian looks like. And when they draw it, they're all over the place. Some look like they're made of sort of like alligators. Some look like they've got scaly skin. Some look like they're aliens, just regular aliens. Some look like, there's no set look for a reptilian. It's sort of a variety. I think that these are hybridization aspects that we're looking at, that were offshoots or for different reasons within this program. But they'll say, "Oh man, I don't like this. Oh, this reptilian is awful. He's horrible. He's terrible. He's scaring me. Oh, he's dreading. He's horrible." I say, "Well, what's he doing? Is he is he violent against you? No. Well, is he threatening you? No. Well, what's he doing? Well, I just don't like him. He's horrible. He's terrible." The bottom line is this. They're all seen together. They're all working in the same program. They're all abducting the same people. We see the reptilians every once in a while. It's a very, very, very small part of the abduction phenomenon, but we do see them. And that is all we see abducting humans. That is all. That is all. The problem is confabulation. And when people tend to remember things without hypnosis, and they remember aliens, they're all over the place. They confabulate like crazy. They mix up their memories. They don't know what they're looking at. I've had people tell me that a person appeared in the room one time I wrote about and looked like a president of the United States, President Abraham Lincoln, with a stovepipe hat and a beard. And I said, okay, that sounds fine, okay. And they went on board, and clothes were taken off, and this happened, that happened. And I said, well, where's the Abraham Lincoln type guy? Is he still with you? Oh, yeah, he's walking with me. We're walking down the hallway.